when players know this is a moment where I can use my Unite move defensively so that I don't give anything away or any leads, right? And you know that if Talon got any sort of like window, they would take it. They were just like, is that a mistake? Yeah, well, we're just punishing it. So knowing that exactly makes Cakekalok just look even stronger than what we had witnessed before in the 2025 season. So this is such good look for them as we are getting into game 2 of this best of 3. And I think, I don't know, is it a Zoroark ban angle?
Oh, wow. I mean, that would be a pretty hard call out. It could happen. I doubt it, but yeah, of course it could happen. I would be more likely to ban the Charizard, I think, going into this next matchup.
Yeah,
I think I would try to avoid that. The Metagross is another interesting decision, I think. So Sync 1 is such a fantastic player on this Pokemon. I don't think they were a problem by any means, especially watching their early game. I thought they had some very solid flanks with that Pokemon. It did take the entire Central, but I do think that there are a few other Pokemon that are considered to be metagame Central area for a reason. Would like to maybe see that be the shakeup for Talon Esports.
Yeah, that would be something interesting to me. Yeah, I don't think the Metagross in particular was that impactful for the side of Talon either. It might have been, I don't know, maybe the play style that they chose to go for with the Metagross also didn't fit as much, like we mentioned with the held items. So it was a little bit conflicting to what we usually expect from this Pokemon in its role. And because it was going central area as well and there was no help to actually clear out those buffs more quickly, the Metang was just like, I'm getting to lane, I'm getting there, I swear. You know, like it was a little bit difficult to keep up with such an agile, incredibly powerful Pokemon in the early game that you can have with a Zoroark just slashing through your team.
Yeah. Another notable thing to talk about in that game number 1, I think, is one of our first Suicune losses on stream.
Wow, yeah.
We have not seen a whole lot of those, and I think Cakekalok playing around that Suicune pretty well. Of course, the disruption from that Pokemon is the major asset that it has, but it's also not really lacking in terms of damage and things like that either, right? That icy damage that it has, the ability to have access to an Execute is pretty wild.
Oh, yeah.
This Pokemon has been taking over the tournament, and I think for good reason. However, Talon Esports not able to pilot it to a victory is interesting in that game number 1 because I don't think you can give up taking it either. You really need to either ban or pick that Pokemon at this point in the metagame.
It's that crucial, I agree. And we'll see what's going to be the side selection here for the side of Talon because they do have priority because it's loser pick sides in our format. And we'll see if they're going to choose to go for purple to guarantee their Suicune or if they're going to try to get after, of course, maybe the Suicune going through the bans, because that's something that happens in draft. It's also...
It can, yeah.
Yeah, it can. And it has been happening quite a bit, right?
Like
the
know.
encounter rate,
I don't know why.
Yeah, like the encounter rate is huge, but the pick rate is even bigger, right? So, like, it's something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
But I also think that Talon could do well in being in the orange side, just like they were now, but maybe saving that last pick to be a more effective counter. I felt like the Metagross was a little like, oh, we practiced this, we kind of want to do something different that we have been doing.
Yeah.
It just didn't gel as much, so maybe just save it for something. Okay, you chose something in your last purple pick, I'll get counter like, pah.
Sure. Yeah, I totally agree. Also, shout out to Cakekalok for their draft and taking both the Charizard and the Zoroark. I think Charizard being a very traditional Zoroark counter, I think both those on your team was a pretty formidable draft that we got to see in game number 1. Here in game number 2, though, so it looks like we're going to be looking at similar bans, but they are following your advice. Ho-Oh ban, and it looks like we're going to be locking in the Zoroark ban. Reminder, a dash is an indicator that we have a less than 1% ban rate on this Pokemon. Welcome, Zoroark, to the ban roll.
Yes, and it's all thanks to Cakekalok and how much they were doing in this Pokemon. Just love to see it, especially proving that it's not just Trainer from Luminosity. that can do that.
Mark God can pull it off too.
Exactly.
I was really curious if the Charizard was actually going to make a return, or whether it was Charizard pick to protect their own Zoroark pick, but instead they are going to be locking it in. Latios going to make another tournament appearance, only at 19% pick rate in this event, but doing a lot of ban rate. Doing very high up numbers on there. Lance this time going to bring the Zacian into the matchup. Of course, has that rusted sword of held item. Can't get rid of that one, but they got the muscle band of Razor Cloud and Boot.
Yes, they do. Oh, I felt like I really enjoyed the Ice Fang plays and the Mammoth plays today in general, which is something really interesting when we already have
taken
such
away
powerful...
from Talon this time, though, right?
Exactly, exactly. Because we know, like, Suicune, we also think about Ho-Oh. These are the defenders and the Snorlax that we're thinking about, but Mammoth has been performing pretty well, and in this series in particular, it was quite impactful. But Talon will go for the Snorlax because Mammoth wasn't available. We'll have that Clefable as well, which is an interesting pick. I see an Okrania.
Oh
with
my
a Mewtwo Y. With a
okay.
Gengar.
I guess we both get something to pop off about.
Wait.
Oh, no, sorry. They got rid of yours. They only kept mine. We got Gengar being locked in. It looks like Eldegoss to boot as well, but okay. Mark God, I guess you banned Zoroark there. Next up is Gengar. I mean, this team has some interesting stuff to work with. Talon Esports are going to get in a Alolan Raichu. I mean, it's a lot of confidence to pick an attacker into an assassin like Gengar on the other side, but it does have a whole lot of damage to work with. That is 2 ranged special attackers in Latios and Alolan Raichu. So this is going to be a full-on poke damage composition from their side, even with the Eldegoss and the Mamoswine both having healing and tank options. Looks like Talon is looking to whittle this down from front to the back.
Yeah, and I feel like it could be a good angle as well to try to shut down the Charizard as Charmander, like as quickly as possible. Just don't give them any XP at all.
Yeah,
and
Lance should have a good lineup there.
Yeah, exactly, because if you have a Alolan Raichu, you're in a good position, right? You evolve fast, you can get that poke and just try to get Charmander in a bad position. You can have as well Zacian coming in, because in general, like you said, with the ranged and the poke that comes from the special attackers,
right.
You also have the Zacian that will finish off anybody. Like, you don't have any doubts, it will be able to finish.
I am so curious what build of Alolan Raichu Sync 1 is going to be locking in right now. Because if we're going double auto attacker, we could be looking at that front to back style of build. However, there are no auto attacking items. So no choice scarf, no muscle band, no rapid fire scarf. Instead, just kind of generic special attack items. So we could be looking at the Electro Ball build from the Alolan Raichu, looking for that big burst damage in maybe unexpected locations. Let's get into it, though. So game number 2, Cakekalok with a 1-0 advantage, and on your purple team as Talon's on your orange team. Oh, and a check button tackle steal to take the blue buff.
The Talon squad on the orange side, and wow, okay, that Ghastly is suffering right now. There's some backup coming in as well, but the swine up is also pretty small. Oh, did they get it? No, I think Cakekalok did get at least one of that. So
yeah, with 6 points in pocket, I believe that's a full Selgor as well as a ball toy. So a dominant performance in that central area invade.
We're going out here for this game. Low HP on this Clefairy, but you're fine because you see the Charmander, has to be a little bit careful about how they go about things because, oh, look at that. It is the Electro Ball you mentioned, and they're placing it already as a trap for those Swablu's. Plenty of them were taken by the Alolan Raichu on the top side. Like I was going to say, you punish the Charmander.
Right. Yeah, they've been doing a great job of that. And also, I don't even know if those Swablu Altaria spawned into the map. They appeared on top of Electro Ball landmines. Like, that is, that's a horror movie if you're a Swablu Altaria fan. But it looks like we are going to have these Snorlax still on and invade. Just having access to rest does give you a little bit of HP recovery, and finally, Ghastly does get a KO. So Mark God will evolve into the Haunter. Still not where you want to be. One of those Pokemon that, it's a speedster, has some great damage, but you desperately need that level 9.
You really do, and I want to see what's going to be the build here.
Hex.
Right, so yeah, like you said, we're having Hex, so it's a little bit more of that, like, DPS. You're going in, coming in, and just getting the damage on, landing that as well with the curse. Now, ooh, in a bad position, though. Will gonna get that finish off. So they're still going to try to push, and how is that possible? Just a little bit that you can heal with that Hunter once you finish somebody is just how they did it. But at the end, they were still punished by Lance as they are on this Zacian, and especially with the help of Moonlight there, they are going to be healthy.
Right, Margot does go down, but that is absolutely worth it. 2 KOs towards the Gengar, you are so far behind in levels, you gotta make big risks plays like that if you want to try to catch up in this game. Of course, the other end of the silver lining is now the Zacian is almost at level 9 before the first set of Reggies, but again, a price you have to be willing to pay if you want to come back in this matchup. Do I sound like a Gengar apologist on cast? Because if I do, it's correct.
It is very much accurate. And like you were saying with the levels, there's the level 9 for the Zacian for Talon, 7 on the Latios as well, but look at the Gengar coming through as well. They have the Sludge Bomb already, so this is going to be more damage that they can do, but when you get chased by a Zacian, there is little that you can do without protection.
Jeez.
The defender was on the bot side. Your supporter really squishy on the Eldegoss, and Talon really punishing here on the top side.
Wow, I mean, just a totally flipped game from games 1 into game 2. Talon Esports dominating this early phase. Not only do they have a great level lead on multiple Pokemon, they have broken that top tier 1 and have sent a Regieleki down to walk. So such a strong start for this squad. Looking really, really good. On the other hand, Cakekalok finally has a level 9 Gengar, but they got a ways to go to catch up still.
Yeah, they do, and because you have such power on the side of Talon, you got to be careful about that Phantom Ambush. Going here to the bot side, Talon might be looking for a strategy, and as we talk about the Phantom Ambush, here we go, Sludge Bomb going in with the hacks, maybe a little too deep. There's the Alolan Raichu, Unite Move! And they push forward, and again, it's just how fragile the Gengar is.
Yeah, I got hit with that Latios Unite move as well. You can see that small, thin targeting line from Dylan all the way towards Margot. Gets a really nasty KO. Talon is going to try to attempt to score. This could be a punishable moment from Cakekalok. Charizard does have its Unite move. A jet button to close the gap, and it will take down 2. Alolan Raichu falls. Clefable could be the next up, and another one in the favor of Charizard. All right, Cakekalok with a little bit of momentum, but still only 21 points to the scoreboard.
Yeah, the difference is pretty massive at this point, but that was super good for them. The problem is, because you still had Lance available, but we had a Unite move coming through there. Well, what exactly? Yeah, it was Infinite Sideband that was used. Interesting choice there, just to stop and stall from Talon not taking down the Tier 1 Gold Zone. But as I was saying, the fact that although Cakekalok defended, with Zacian still there, they weren't even able to do anything more to score their own points.
All right, so impressive stuff. We got Mewtwo poking some damage, and yeah, I mean, these exchanges have been challenging, but like you mentioned, Cakekalok defending. We need a little bit of offense from this team, though. I think if they're going to turn things around, we need to get a big push in for them. All right, we got Charizard, Gengar rotating towards topside now, and of course, Zacian already in position as Regieleki is about to spawn. Talon Esports, though, with something else in mind as they are trying to push towards this Tier 1.
Oh, and looking good because that Mewtwo, why? Oh, I love those eject button plays, and that's... Power Nap as well are coming through there on Talon. Pushing even more. They have good points to score. It's going to be 41 overdunk, which is getting them to a 99 score lead here for Talon. While on the side of Cakekalok, they have guaranteed Regieleki, which should make a equal, quote-unquote, trade because Talon will take the Regirock.
It's at least going to give them a little bit of time. They know no one will be invading or trying to steal their experience, right? At the very least, they have Regieleki giving them vision. And here's a chance to push on that Tier 2. Gengar Unite move puts together 2 knockouts as Alolan Raichu falls. And here we go. A big scoring push for Cakekalok. Shut down by RBX, though.
Wow, that Infinite Sideband was amazing. Perfect setup for that size Seismic Slam, but they're gonna have to retreat because they have taken the objective. That tier 1 zone was just what they could afford at this point. With the amount of damage that is ditched from the Femto Ambush, now that it's not available, you need to respect what the enemy can do too.
Exactly, yeah, but at least now we got a battle on our hands, you know what I mean? Cakekalok's caught a little bit of momentum, specifically a few levels. Charizard, Gengar, both at that level 13, can now actually be a threatening presence. Talon Esports have to huddle around that Clefable, focus on that Moonlight healing. But Markov's been doing a very good job of playing around it still. I think landing some really nice combo plays with both, of course, the Hexgar build that we've seen, but putting in that Unite move to great success.
Looking good here as we are approaching that final stretch. 173 for Cakekalok on your purple side, 214 for Talon on your orange. And we know those level 13s feel pretty good for Talon, but the Charizard on 14 also is pretty massive. Now, those Electro Balls, they have been placed as those landmines you mentioned, Zoinks, as just traps in that tall grass, and 20 seconds for Rayquaza.
There's 4 of them in there right now. Like, that's 8,000 damage if anybody walks into that tiny piece of Tara. Oh, the Snorlax is going to try to push him in. We see the Heavy Slam tries to set up to actually block push all the way to the other side. Big engage, Mamoswine down as they get pulled all the way by Talon Esports, and they're going to have a 5-4 advantage. That means Rayquaza's in the danger zone.
Oh, lure them in. They go straight into the balls, but it's not going to be the case where there's still plenty of damage that needs to be done onto that Mewtwo X. Now with the Infinite Sidewind locking them down in place, could be Cakekalok coming out on top, but it's not. Talon is still standing strong with all their 5 members. Soonsarge, BX Light, they still need to try and do something about this Rayquaza. It's still 1 minute 34. Look at that Zacian. Lance is just shredding through the Mewtwo Y, and BL, they take it. Talon will confirm this one with that huge win on the team fight. Take the Rayquaza, and with the numbers lead, they should be able to wrap it off.
Yeah, what a bounce back. I mean, Talon pulled off a really fantastic team fight, did a great Snorlax engage into that corridor, were able to play off it extremely well, and the entire time, they found a way to take the main defender player, Mamoswine, the big prevention against a play like that, and absolutely take them out of the fight early. Honestly, everything went well, except no one walked into the bush with all the Electro Balls. That's the only disappointing thing.
A little disappointing.
Yeah.
After we saw, right.
Yeah, let's go to the top side, actually.
Funny.
Actually, we were going to go to top side. Yeah, good call.
Where we just eject buttoning for their Latios. I get that. Sync. Salutes to you. You're back to base, but that's all right. Your team has 500 points in the lead. Cakekalok, though, still has some breath in this game, and it looks to be a 1-1 as we are wrapping up this one. Seismic Slam just to get that Snorlax away. Still not enough points for Cakekalok to actually score. So it feels like Talon are looking to wrap this up.
Welcome to the part of the show, everybody, where I do have to say that Gengar actually looked pretty okay, all right? It is a game loss.
Is a good word.
Yeah, its win rate stat not going to be looking phenomenal as, yeah, this is a shutdown play. Looking like 5 minutes of just keeping that Gengar at a poor Haunter stage as we are going to be going to a Game 3 as Talon Esports regains some momentum and find a way to shut down an APAC rival in Cakekalok.
It's a 1-1, it's a draw. It is Game 3 of your best of 3, which we love to see at Worlds, especially on this Friday when it's setting the pace for the weekend, isn't it?
Yeah. No, our group stage has been phenomenal. We've seen upsets, we've seen amazing games, we've seen surprise Pokemon picks, like Gengar even, and today we get to see, of course, a not inter-regional, but a very close regional rivalry between these two teams.
And I actually love to see that even when we had those sweeps, they were really good games. Sometimes the sweep doesn't even translate how great and close games were. And as we're looking at these replays, there was some very good plays by Margot on this Gengar, but we know as well, just like this one, I really loved this one from the Charizard Zoinks.
Yeah, great eject button plays from Charizard. I think Cakekalok, this is the one Pokemon that you certainly have to keep in this draft so far. We also saw some really cool Mewtwo Y techs. I think you called out a major one, a stun that enabled a big team fight to follow after. There was one earlier on a tier 1 defense that I thought was pretty impressive, but all these techs looked great, but it's just Talon Esports were so far ahead in